Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Ryan and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're here for the Let's Talk for the next round of the MotoGP World Championship at Le Mans, where today we've got the Let's Talk for the Saturday qualifying session and a couple of other things as well throughout the weekend that we're going to point out. As you can see, it's just myself again today. Jamie is in Tenerife, I think, on holiday. So, yeah, he's stuck with me for today. So we're going to go through the qualifying results. We're just going to smash through it because it's getting quite late. I have had to do this a bit later than I would have liked to. So we're going to go through the qualifying results, just give my opinion on the top 5 or whatever, a couple of riders, and then we'll get straight into it. Starting with Moto 3 then. As you may know, Danny Kent is wildcarding on the Red Bull KTM bike after his falling out with the Kiefer Racing squad. So he makes his debut back in Moto 3 this weekend at Le Mans. However, it was not him on pole. It was Jorge Martin who took pole position on the Del Conquer Gresini Moto 3 with a time of 1:42.8 on his last of 14 laps. He actually topped the session ahead of Nicolo Bulliger, who set the fastest time previously and then got his lap time cancelled after running onto the paintwork at turn number 9, I think it was turn 8. At the garage exit of that part of the track. He ran a little bit wide, just touched the green stuff, got his lap cancelled. And then Juan Guevara on the RBA BOE Racing Team KTM, he set a time of 42.961 on his 15th out of 16 laps to get onto the front row. So really good showing from Guevara. Kind of appeared out of nowhere in that session to get that KTM on the front row. And then it's the next Honda, the second Honda, Romano Fenati in 4th position on the Marinelli River Cold Snipers bike. Not really surprised that Fenati's up inside the top 5. You know, he's had one win this season at Austin after Canet crashed, and yeah, he's a fast rider. Just hopefully he can have a clean race and not take anybody out again. Alberto Arenas in 5th position on the 75 bike on the Mahindra. Again, a very good showing for him. It's kind of been absolutely nowhere during this season. His best result this season has been a 14th in Jerez last time out when he pipped Sasaki for the final point of the race. He lines up 5th position ahead of the first Red Bull KTM team of Nicolo Antonelli. He set a time of a 1:43.051 to go into 6th position, rounding off the second row. Heading the third row was by far the standout performer of Jerez on that Platinum Bay real estate bike, Marcos Ramirez, getting that incredible 4th position last time out in Jerez and getting himself some great points. And he is up into 7th in the qualifying standings ahead of the championship leader Johan Mir on the Leopard Honda. He set a time of 43.0 to go into 8th position. Then Bo Schneider in 9th ahead of his new teammate for this weekend, Danny Kent. He rounds out the top 10. The two Estrella Galicia 00 bikes outside the top 10. Bastianini taking 11th and Canet taking 12th. Not really looked comfortable this weekend has Canet or Bastianini. I've noticed Canet has been outside the top 21 for the majority of the sessions, and unfortunately for Canet, it's not going quite as he wanted this weekend. And Bastianini, well, his season's not exactly going how he wanted it at all. A few names to mention: Manuel Pagliani in 14th on the CIP Mahindra. He had a crash with Kato Toba at turn number 1. He starts from 14th position ahead of Fabio Di Gianantonio. Jules Nino, the Frenchman, the home Grand Prix for him, the only French rider in Moto 3. He starts on 16th position ahead of another standout performer in Jerez before he crashed out, got kind of forced out of the Grand Prix by Fenati. Darren Binder, he's in 17th. I think he can have a good race, or if he can just latch on to the back of the leading group in the early part of the race, I think he can have a good race. Another couple of riders that I want to point out: Andrea Migno down in 23rd position on that KTM. The Sky KTMs seem to be a little bit at sea this season. I mean, Bulliger hasn't had the best of seasons. Migno, again, still not the best of season. There hasn't been a KTM on the podium yet, and I think that will change this weekend with Bulliger going quick and Danny Kent obviously in there as well, who's going very quick at the start of the weekend. So I think maybe we will get a KTM on the podium in Le Mans. Another guy, John McPhee, way down in 25th position on that British Talent Honda, 43.8. That's 1 second off Jorge Martin's top time, and I honestly think that maybe after his crash in practice, he's kind of lost confidence in the team, the bike, and it's just not working for him. He's just lost a lot of confidence in everything, really, and he's way down in 25th position. Kato Toba in 26th. Philip Ertel is back. He busted his collarbone in Jerez. He's back. He's in 28th position with Maria Herrera. Nakarin Atirat Pupapat in 30th. And rounding out the field, 2.5 seconds off, 6/10 off Nakarin is Patrick Pulkkinen on the Peugeot MC Saxo Print. So, yeah, as always, going to do the predictions for tomorrow. And Moto 3, well, all three classes are going to be really hard to predict because they've only had one dry session. And the Moto 3 session this morning wasn't even really dry. MotoGP got the last dry 10 minutes and it created a pretty crazy result for that session. And yeah, so it's going to be quite hard. But I'm going to say Bulliger, Fenati, Kent. That's what I'm saying. Bulliger, Fenati, Kent. That's who I think will win tomorrow. Moving on to Moto 2 though, and different story completely. Thomas Luthi on the car expert Interweeting Galax beat his own lap record time to get a 1:36.548 on his 14th of the 18 laps that he completed to take pole position, with the Sky VR46 bike. Pecco Bagnaia taking second position, his first front row start in Moto 2, and getting a very, very good lap time in as well, underneath the lap record of Tom Luthi set a couple of years ago, and he is just 26,000 off the Swiss rider. So I think definitely he can have a good race tomorrow if he can stay on his, on the bike. He could potentially get his second podium, or maybe even his first win in the class. Frankie Morbidelli, his weekend's been a little bit up and down. He had a crash, a very strange crash, ran wide, just went over the curb and lost the front and just went down. He's in third, and then Luca Marini on the Forward Racing bike, 1:36.794, to put him fourth. That's a great qualifying session from him on the Forward Racing. I just hope he can carry it into the race and get a good result. Maybe even a podium on the cars, but I mean, it's not exactly impossible, with Luthi. Bagnaia could fade in the race, Morbidelli as well. You don't know what's going to happen with him. You've got Marini obviously in fourth, and you have got Agata, Alex Marquez. We'll move on to him in a minute. There's Persini who could potentially, get in the mix, and obviously his teammate Baldassari as well. But yeah, I think Marini, hopefully, if he can carry the momentum into that, into the race tomorrow, then could have a good result. Dominic Agata, like I said, he's in fifth position on the Kiefer Racing team. And then Alex Marquez, who had a high side in practice 3, and he's actually broke his foot, or some bone in the foot, and unfortunately for him, he is in a bit of pain. He also crashed during the qualifying session as well at the final corner, and had to kind of hobble away. And it was quite funny because he was kind of running, but he was kind of jumping at the same time. He was in a bit of pain, but he managed to get 6th position, which is pretty good for saying that, the amount of pain that he was in. And he was ahead of Matteo Persini, who heads row 3, with Lorenzo Baldassari on the second Forward Racing team. He is in 8th position. And then the first of the 2 Dynavolts, Marcel Schrotter, just beating Sandro Cortese by 12 thousandths of a second to get onto that 3rd row. Cortese started from the 4th row, ahead of a standout for this season on the Tech 3, Javi Vieje, starting on P11 on his Tech 3 Racing, ahead of Javier Simeon, who's, tell you what, he's done pretty well throughout this season. I have to admit, he was up there in Austin fighting with Bagnaia for most of the race and dropped back towards the end. On that Tasca Racing, it's not the best bike. We saw it last year with, I think it was Tanucci running on it. I'm not quite sure. He was just running around at the back of the grid all race long. So I don't know if it was the bike or the rider last year, or if it is just, the fact that it is a pretty awful package in January. Yeah, it was Alessandro Tanucci on that bike last year, and he at Le Mans he managed to get, where did Tanucci qualify last year in Le Mans? I imagine it was at the back of the grid. It was 26th ahead of Hasko Raffin, Danny Eslick, and Sandro Cortese did not set a lap time in that session last year. So big improvements for the Tasca Racing squad and Javier Simeon on that bike. Yoni Hernandez in 13th position on the AGR team bike. He looked a little bit better this weekend, a little bit more competitive, and hopefully he can have a good race as well. Not just for points, but for confidence as well. It'd be a good confidence boost for him to get a really, really good result under his belt. Simone Corsi on the speed up. He had a crash as well in qualifying. Pretty hectic qualifying session, a lot of crashes. Tom Lucy had one as well at the final corner. He is in 14th. Ahead of Ricky Cardouse, who once again is in for Brad Binder. After Brad broke that arm in testing and had to get it re-broken and re-operated on because it just was a very, very difficult situation, very bad operation in the first place. It kind of just didn't fix it, so I had to re-break it, re-operate, and hopefully things are alright for him. Ricky Cardouse on that bike, he set a time of a 1:37.369, and he gets 15th position ahead of Axel Pons, who had a crash as well earlier on in the day. The RW Racing GP Calex gets a 1:37.376 to get into 16th. And then a very, very big shocking result for two riders that we're going to go through. Miguel Oliveira, podium last time out in Jerez, and he's down in 17th position. I honestly don't know. 1:37.440 on his fourth out of 19 laps. So not sure what happened to Miguel Oliveira in that session, but he has a lot of work to do for tomorrow's race. He is ahead of the second guy that I want to mention, Takaaki Nakagami on the Idemitsu Honda Team Asia. He's way down in 18th position as well. So again, don't know what happened to him. Isaac Vinales in 19th position, and Fabio Quartararo rounding out the top 20 on the Pons HB40 bike. Now, you may know, obviously, Danny Kent is in the Moto3. So, the guy who is replacing him, if you didn't see the video that we uploaded a couple of weeks ago, Taron McKenzie on the Kiefer Racing squad. He's down in 29th position. However, he's only 2.4 seconds off, and he's never ridden that bike before, and he's never actually rode this circuit before. So, it's the first time that he's actually come to this circuit to race at, which is pretty impressive to be just 2.4 seconds off on his first ever time, and he's beat Edgar Pons, who's been racing in Moto2 for quite a long time. He's beat him, and he's beat Kyron Dampawi as well on the Honda Team Asia. So Mackenzie's just got to keep chipping away at it, and hopefully, you know, things will get a little bit better for him. So the circuit record lap was in 2015 at 37.281. How many riders have we got under that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 riders was under the circuit record lap of 2015. So that's pretty impressive. The 14th rider being Simone Corsi were 1:37.280. So it's only a thousandth of a second faster than the circuit record. Obviously, if you don't know, Le Mans has had that new asphalt put down, the new tarmac, and it's working a treat on the newer, you know, bikes and new tyres and that. It's working really, really well, giving them a lot of grip. Now, qualifying one for MotoGP, the guys in there was Samlos, Rabat, Gintoli, Espargaro, Petrucci, Folger, Lorenzo, Barbara, Espargaro, Bautista, Pedrosa, Zarco, Dovi, and I think that's everyone. Bautista, yeah. And right, so to go through to qualifying two, I predicted Pedrosa and Zarco. However, it was Andrea Dovizioso and Johan Zarco on his final lap of the session, just knocking Danny Pedrosa out of the top two. So, starting from 13th onwards, 13th Danny Pedrosa on the Repsol Honda. 14th Alvaro Bautista on the Pull&Bear Aspart Ducati. 15th Jonas Folger. 16th Jorge Lorenzo. 17th Andrea Iannone. 18th Aleix Espargaro. 19th Danilo Petrucci, 10th Hector Barbara, 11th Sam Lowe's, 12th Tito Rabat, and 13th rounding out the field is Sylvain Gintoli, who is in for the injured Alex Rins. You may notice as well that in qualifying one there was no KTMs in there. They got straight into qualifying two with Karel Abraham as well. He made it into that session. So in qualifying 2 we had Maverick Vinales, Cal Crutchlow, Marc Marquez, Scott Redding, Andrea Dovizioso, Valentino Rossi, obviously Johann Zarco from the Q1, Dovi as well, Redding, Abraham, Espargaro, Miller, Baz and Smith. And Jack Miller was going into the session pretty badly beaten up after this huge crash at turn number 1. I honestly just don't know how he walked away from that one. That was an absolutely huge crash for him. However, it was Yamaha who locked out the front row for the first time since 2008 in, I think, Qatar. I did have a look earlier, but the MotoGP website's not working properly. When you press the class, it doesn't load up with what you want, like race or whatever, so I end up getting the race results and I refresh it and then the page crashes. So I will put the if I can find it, I'll put it in the description, but I think it was Qatar when Lorenzo took pole, James Toseland and Colin Edwards on the Tech 3, they were alongside him on the front row. But this time though, it was the 2 Movistar Yamahas at the front, Maverick Vinales taking pole position ahead of Valentino Rossi, and Johann Zarco rounding out the front row at home, straight fresh from that qualifying 1 session where he only used 1 tyre in qualifying 1, just kept going round for the whole of the session. LCR Honda's Cal Crutchlow lined up on the 2nd row ahead of Repsol Honda's Marc Marquez, who set a time of 1:32.493. He actually had a crash as well at turn number, I think it's turn 2, but Dorna says it's turn 3, but I think it's honestly turn 2. He was ahead of Dovizioso, who rounds out the 2nd row. Heading the 3rd row is Scott Redding, and then a KTM in 8th position. Paul Espargaro setting a 1:33.399. He goes, I said, into 8th position ahead of Karel Abraham, and Bradley Smith on the 2nd KTM rounding out the top 10 of a 33.629. So really good performances from the KTM. However, in the race I feel like they will drop back a little bit, but I definitely think maybe a top 10 for Paul Espargaro is doable if he can stay on the bike. Jack Miller in 11th after that huge crash, like I said. He set a time of 33.756, and rounding out the field is Loris Baz in 12th position with a 1:33.955, and that is how the grid looks for MotoGP. Predictions for Moto 2, I kind of forgot to do that. You know what, I'm going to say Bagnaia for the win, Morbidelli 2nd, and Bagnaia, Morbidelli and Luthi. I was going to say Marini, go for a complete just out there YOLO vote, but nah, I'll go for Bagnaia, Morbidelli and Luthi. And check out Twitter. I'll put on Twitter the amount of points that I get per race and see what we can do. Let us know your predictions as well down in the comments. You can kind of play along as well. You go just down to Twitter, which is literally just down there. You can go on there and have a look and see how you do as well. So MotoGP predictions. Oh, I don't know. What should we go for? I'm going to say, as I always do, Rossi win, Zarco 2nd, Marquez 3rd. I have a feeling that Vinales is going to crash. I don't know why. I just have this feeling with Maverick. He's been, I don't know, ever since Jerez, he's been a little bit stressed out with that tyre issue that he had in Jerez. But he's got it on pole. He was calm and collected in the qualifying session, but I think he might crash. I don't know. I've just got a sneaky feeling. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. So that's pretty much it for so there's not really lots to talk about. Sylvain Guintoli, it would be nice if he can get points. If he can stay on the bike, then it could be possible with the amount of crashes that you do get in the race. Points would be definitely, a nice thing for him. But I would like him to beat some riders on the circuit, like, beating maybe Lowe's or Rabat, or maybe even Hector Barbary starts down in 20th position. If he can, drop back and fight with, the likes of Sam, Rabat and Sylvain, and if he can beat them riders, Rabat, very experienced, Moto2 rider, MotoGP rider, who's in his 2nd year, and Hector Barbary is also a very experienced MotoGP rider. If he can beat some people like that, that'd be quite good for his confidence. I'm not sure if he's in for Mugello. I think he is, but there's nothing confirmed on that at the moment, and hopefully we will see Silverman get some good points throughout this race. So if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Jamie's actually, you know what? Let's get Jamie's prediction. Let me get my phone. Let me message him. Let's get Jamie's predictions for the races tomorrow. I know his Moto 3 and Moto 2 before I message him. Moto 3, Bulliger for the win, and Oliveira for the win. I don't think he knows where Oliveira's started, so he'll. I've asked him your predictions for tomorrow's 3 races. He might not reply because he is out on holiday, so we'll have to just wait and see if he replies or not. If he doesn't reply, then I will probably put them on Twitter when I get them or something like that. So go check out Twitter or Facebook, and yeah, I'll basically just wait and see if he replies or not. He probably won't, but yeah. Alright guys, I want to just apologise about my webcam and why it's like that. I didn't notice that the webcam had kind of folded itself, so it's gone down, up, like that. And I was sat kind of like that. But you know, these things happen, so I do apologise about that. I'm really, really sorry that we were sorted for tomorrow. However, the predictions are in from Jamie, and I actually got it wrong. He says Martin will win tomorrow, Mia and Bulliger, whereas I said, I can't remember what I said. I'm going to have to rewatch the video and write it down. He then said Bagnaia to win Moto 2, Morbidelli second, Luti. That's what I said. So me and him's got the same prediction. And he says Zarco is going to win MotoGP, Rossi second, Vinales third, whereas I went for Rossi, Vinales. What did I go for? Rossi, Zarco, Marquez, wasn't it? Yeah. So interesting little predictions there from Jamie. Go check him out. His channel logo is there. I think mine's there. So go check both of us out. We're both in the description. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, I'm really sorry about the webcam issues that were throughout that video, and I'll see you guys very, very soon, probably Monday or Tuesday, for the race analysis. It will be uploaded very soon. If Jamie has got any spare time and he can get on Skype, then you might be lucky and you might have Jamie on for race analysis, but I doubt it. So yeah, until then guys, goodbye.